KFI AM 640. You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly. On demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Foosh, we're a week out from Christmas. You got to take down your tree, you got to take down your lights, and you can't play Christmas music anymore. That's the rule.
Dang it.
Yeah, dude. Sorry. Sorry about that. Chris Merrill from Mo Kelly. Listen anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app, KFI AM 640. Pleasure being with you. Boy, we are off to a hell of a start in 2025, aren't we? It took until 3:15 New Orleans time. What is New Orleans East Coast? Mark, do you know? Are they Eastern?
Central Coast.
Are they Central Coast?
Very good. Right now...
Yeah, so they're 2 hours ahead. So it was 1:15 our time when that truck barreled through everybody in New Orleans?
I believe so.
All right.
Yes.
We'd like to just kind of pause and rewind for, maybe we just do a do-over. Can we just do it again? And how about everybody that was all excited? Oh, I can't wait to put this year behind us. Next year is going to be great. It took less than 2 hours. Or less than 3 hours, I guess, for people there.
And for those who don't know, me and Chris, I sent you that thing about New Year's, and it's like, I don't know what it is, man. Every year, there's always that one person.
There's always somebody's got to screw things up for us, right?
Always.
Every year.
So ridiculous.
Those are the party poopers. In this case, it sounds like it might have been a terrorist, especially because he had an ISIS flag in his truck. So that sounds very terror-y. And maybe not even working alone, because now they're saying there may have been IEDs planted around there in New Orleans as well. This was ABC on their report.
Investigators are reviewing this video of that deadly French Quarter terror attack. It shows the moment the suspect drove a pickup truck around safety barriers and then plowing into a crowd of people celebrating the new year. This just before he was killed in a shootout with police. Investigators say 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar, that was him, a U.S. citizen, an Army veteran, born in Texas, was behind the wheel.
Okay, but he's got a funny-sounding name, so you just wait, because the crazies are going to come out. The crazies are going to say he wasn't an American. Oh, yes, he was. He was born in Texas. It doesn't get any more Americaner than that. But doesn't matter. He had a funny-sounding name. People are going to say, they're going to use this to make hay with whatever their pet peeve is with America today.
An ISIS flag, along with guns and explosives, found with that pickup truck. And we're learning Jabbar spent a decade in the military before becoming a realtor in the Houston area. We're also starting to get a clearer picture of some of the victims as relatives come forward to identify them. At least 15 people have been killed, with dozens more injured. Meanwhile, the Sugar Bowl, being held a mile away at the Superdome, is now postponed until tomorrow. Moments ago, from President Biden, he spoke from Camp David.
All right. So this is obviously a couple hours old.
Our hearts are with the people of New Orleans after the despicable attack that occurred in the early morning hours. To all the families of those who were killed, to all those who are injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving.
I like that he said New Orleans.
To all the people of New Orleans.
Oh, he said it like a local.
Who are grieving today. I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal in the weeks to come.
Yeah, that is in stark contrast to what he had out on his social medias this morning, by the way. Did you catch the grief that Joe Biden is going through? People are like, oh, you're heartless. 10 o'clock Eastern this morning, he posted something about, hey, Happy New Year, folks. Yeah, that was, I don't think Joe Biden got up and started posting on X. That's a social media manager who had pre-programmed and timed that. They scheduled the post. And I'm positive that's what happened. We've seen this happen before. It happened with Trump in the past, too, where they scheduled the post ahead of time, and then something happens in the interim between the time it's scheduled and the time that it goes live, and then all of a sudden they're lambasted for being tone deaf.
It kind of reminds me, Chris, if when you go back to the 90s, that actors got blamed for how bad the episodes were for television shows. Because, no one knew how much work went into, writers and producers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, what happened here.
Yeah, well, it's social media that, I mean, it's the social media manager that did it, but, Biden didn't have anything to do with it.
No, nothing. Yeah.
Or how about those times that a show will air right after something horrible will happen? So it'd be like if NCIS was airing something and it had to do with a terror attack, and it was already it's already in the hopper and ready to roll, and then they air it. I mean, we've seen networks scramble because of the mistakes that have been made in the past. Because it's like, listen, there was no way that anybody was going to know that this.
You can't predict something.
No, of course not. But it doesn't matter. We like to jump all over people and criticize them. And don't tell me cancel culture only comes from one side.
No, because we want to point the finger at someone.
Yeah. Oh, it makes us feel better about ourselves.
Yeah,
we can point out somebody else doing wrong. Yeah. It's like the cop I saw today that didn't use his blinker when he was turning into the 7-Eleven. Man, that made me mad. I thought, you know what? You would have pulled me over for that. Giving you an excuse to stop me. I wanted to follow him right in there and be like, oh, you said a BMW you're driving? No, it's not. But I'm pretty sure it has a blinker on it. But I thought I would just avoid the hassle.
Investigators are now combing through the suspect's life, trying to track down all leads to any known associates.
ABC's Christian Cordero is in New Orleans and brings us the breaking details.
David, Giovanna, this was right around the time when Notre Dame and Georgia fans were supposed to be flooding this area around the Superdome. Instead, gates are closed. New Orleans' famed Bourbon Street, now a crime scene as the FBI investigates what they're calling a terror attack on New Year's Day. Federal officials identifying the suspect as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas and an Army veteran.
We should deport him anyway. He should have been deported. He had a funny name.
Police say he rammed a rented pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, he rented that on Turo. You ever used Turo? I've only used it once, but I had a good experience. Turo's like Airbnb for cars.
Yeah.
You just you use somebody else's. You pay them to borrow their car.
What car did you get?
I needed a pickup truck to move some stuff.
Oh, nice. Oh,
yeah, I didn't do any fun stuff. I know a lot of people will rent I've always wanted to drive a Porsche 911, so they'll do that. Yeah, but no, that's.
But I think your reasoning that's probably the best reason to use something like that.
Because,
yeah. You don't want a pickup truck with the gas mileage.
No,
all the time.
No, and it was cheaper than renting the thing from Home Depot for an hour. I think I paid $75 for a day, and Home Depot $75 for the first hour.
There you go.
Yeah. Just after 3 a.m., driving 3 blocks before crashing, then getting out and firing at police with an assault rifle. Officials say 2 officers were hurt before police shot and killed the suspect. Witnesses described the scene as gruesome.
What we saw was insanity. I mean, something out of a movie. The graphic nature of it, and
oh man,
it was unbelievable.
Can you imagine being horrible? Absolutely horrible. I actually had a friend that was staying at the hotel right next to this, and he's in a text chain with a group of friends of ours, and he had been posting about how he was in New Orleans, and he always sends us pictures of the alcohol he's drinking and what he and his new fiance are doing. He's going through a massive midlife crisis. So we were, everybody was checking in on him. Are you okay? He says, yeah, that actually happened right outside my window. Woo! Can you even imagine? Just the horror. Didn't bother him. He slept through it. He just figured it was, fireworks or something. He heard the gunshots, and he thought, New Orleans. It's either fireworks or gunshots. It's one or the other. Meanwhile, there was another truck that exploded thousands of miles away in front of the Trump Hotel. We'll tell you what that was about. Also, they're looking to see if there's any connection with this other truck that exploded. However, we do know that there is one similarity.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Foosh, is that one of those top downloaded songs? One of the big ones that you were telling me about?
Yeah. Well, so okay.
I don't know.
Program note for everyone pulling back the sheets flat behind the scenes. I wanted to do every streamed song from every month of this year. Unfortunately, it was like 4 songs. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So this wasn't one of them. I just heard it like a couple weeks ago. I guess it's featured on a show on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Perfect Couple. So, everyone check it out.
I'm going through a big debate in my head about Netflix. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really torn on the whole Netflix thing. Content is king, right? That's what we hear in radio. That's the way it is in streaming too. Content is king.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So New Orleans, they have this crazy dude, American citizen with a funny name, So he sounds like he had become an acolyte of ISIS. He had an ISIS flag, drove through a crowd of people, killed 15 people. Horrible, horrible scenario. Gets out and shoots it out with the cops. So I don't think he started that journey expecting to come back alive. I mean, his whole thing was, I'm going to kill as many people as I can. Carnage was the goal, right? And so the guy, he did what he set out to do, and that was just to randomly kill people. And it sounds like we could be looking at an international terrorist kind of situation here. Not a great way to start the new year. Then, if we flip and we go to Las Vegas, there was a vehicle that exploded in Las Vegas right in front of the Trump Hotel there. It was a Tesla Cybertruck that exploded, killed one person, several people injured. Sounds like the person that was killed was the person that was in the truck.
We're also following breaking news out of Las Vegas.
From ABC.
Where police and fire officials are now investigating a fire and explosion at Trump Las Vegas. They say it happened in a car that a driver pulled into a valet area there, and the vehicle exploded. Our Justice reporter Alex Mallon has the latest on that. Alex, what are they now saying about what happened here in Vegas?
Yeah, thanks a lot. That's true.
Hi there, Diane. It's actually Alex Stone here.
I love Alex Stone. Oh, that's a pleasant surprise.
And Las Vegas law enforcement, they briefed a moment ago saying that they don't have a lot of answers yet on what this was. It was around 8:40 this morning. This call came in of an explosion at the Trump Tower Hotel. They know a Cybertruck pulled up right to the glass entrance doors. Smoke started coming from the vehicle, and then it exploded. Now, they don't know if this was intentional. They don't know if it was something wrong with the vehicle or something that was in the vehicle. The sheriff saying that they believe everything is safe at this point, but they're looking for if it was malicious, what the intention was. They don't know any of that yet, Diane.
And they say they're treating it as an intentional criminal act in the meantime. So what does that do for the investigation, Alex?
Yeah.
Well, they say based on what's going on in New Orleans that they have to begin looking at it that way, not knowing what this was. They've got injured 7 bystanders that have minor injuries. They are taking this slow, but the sheriff saying we don't know what we don't know, but saying that they do believe that the threat is over and that the community is now safe. The FBI is part of the investigation, is looking into it. They are trying to understand what the incident was or was not, but the indicators are there of a vehicle pulling up, smoke begins to come out of it, and then an explosion. The person inside the vehicle was killed. They don't know if it was a male or a female yet, but a lot they still have to figure out.
Now, Elon Musk has said, it wasn't my truck, because obviously when you have an exploding Tesla, people just assume that the battery is bad. So Elon Musk then tweeted that he has confirmed that the explosion was caused by a very large firework and or bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck, unrelated to the vehicle himself. So he immediately came out to say, it wasn't the Tesla. It wasn't the Tesla. There is a similarity between this and what happened in New Orleans in that this vehicle was also rented via Turo. Turo, if you missed the first segment, Turo is like Airbnb for vehicles, where you can basically pay to borrow somebody's car. So that's similar. According to law enforcement, the truck was rented via Turo, had a tumble of charred fireworks, mortars, canisters, and other explosive devices crowded into the back of the pickup. Motive unclear. We don't know if this was just an accident. We don't know if this was intentional. You have to investigate it like it is. But, I mean, it's New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. A lot of people with fireworks. A lot of people, doing goofy stuff in a vehicle they're unfamiliar with. We don't know how well it was packed. We don't know if they packed matches next to the fireworks. We just don't know. We don't know. Las Vegas Sheriff says isolated incident. There's no further threat to the community. And with that, of course, they're studying and looking for the connection to anything in New Orleans. Now, there's a question about whether or not we're going to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth when it comes to what happened in both New Orleans and now what's going on in Las Vegas. In fact, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, he's a guy. So he says he's already anticipating that the feds are going to lie about it, and he's going to chase them. All right, here's what Senator John Kennedy said when he was addressing people in New Orleans.
Here's what I want to ask from the federal government. Catch these people. Catch these people.
Thanks, Senator Kennedy. Here's what I want to ask. Catch them.
Catch those people.
Oh, this guy.
And then tell the American people the truth. Now, I don't want you to tell us yet anything that's going to interfere with your investigation. And there's things that I've been told that I think are true that I'm not sharing with you today because it could interfere with their investigation.
So you're lying to us.
But after we get to the bottom of this, they need to tell the American people the truth.
Why does he assume that we're not going to hear the truth? Would that indicate that what he's been told is bad, and that he assumes the feds are going to lie to us about what it is? Is he assuming that there's a big Democratic Party cover-up over what's going on? I just, what is he even talking about?
And the people of New Orleans the truth, and the people of America the truth.
Tell them the truth.
I think the mayor and the governor are very wise to postpone this ball game for 24 hours. There's just too much stuff we don't know, and it's just not worth it. But I guess my final point is, I will promise you this.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I will, when it is appropriate and this investigation is complete, you will find out what happened and who was responsible.
Okay. Did we think we weren't?
Or I will raise fresh hell.
Is there a stale hell you could raise?
And I will chase those in the federal government who are responsible for telling us what happened, like they stole Christmas.
The federal government is beginning a war on Christmas, and Senator John Kennedy is going to save it. Oh, my gosh. He's like those goofy-looking kids in The Grinch. Oh,
I was just going to say, the Grinch is taking everything away from us.
That guy is so nutty. He's like the elected version of Pat Robertson is what he is. Just guy is such a goofball. All right, so there's your update on what's happening with the Cybertruck disaster in Las Vegas, which I think could have been an accident. Obviously, what happened in New Orleans is not an accident. I don't know. Maybe they were coordinated. Maybe it wasn't an accident. But if it's not an accident, don't you think that the Cybertruck explosion would have been bigger? It wouldn't have just been some firework mortars. It would have been, you know what I mean?
It's
like
a
they're
good
trying
point.
to do, yeah.
Because, I mean, their stuff has not been working correctly.
Yeah.
As Mark Ronder likes to point out.
Yeah, not only has their stuff not been working correctly, there were 15 Tesla recalls in 2024.
Yeah.
So if Elon Musk says something, if he tells me the sun's out, I'm opening the window and checking for myself.
Yeah. Look, fireworks go off. You know, people do goofy things. I think the assumption some people are working with is that it's political because it's the Elon Musk vehicle in front of the Trump hotel. Which, okay, look, you've got somebody driving a Cybertruck, most overrated vehicle in history, full of fireworks, most testosterone-laden celebration in history, in front of Trump Tower, the most projected macho president in history. I mean, it's not too much to assume that those things would occur in nature on their own without it being some sort of a plot. You know what I mean? Speaking of President, he has a message for California, and it could cost us billions.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Very good. Chris Merrill from Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. Listen anytime on demand on the iHeart Radio app. I can't keep up with them. I do some of these. Listen, I'm kind of a loser. So I do these little online quizzes like, did you keep up with the news this week? That kind of thing. Whenever it comes to pop culture, I go, God, I'm old. Like, who Who had a brat summer? Like, I don't know. I don't have any idea.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. And they're like, it's Charlie XCX. And I go, I don't know. What is the XCX for? I don't know. But I was like, well, that's not Roman numerals. If it is, they're doing it wrong, but that's fine. Okay. So anyway, I just can't keep up. And I realized this is what happened with my parents. You know, my parents were like, what is a soul asylum? I don't know what that is. You know, that's my parents. You know, what exactly is a Pearl Jam? And I'm, come on, Mom. I don't know. I can't keep up. I realize I've turned into my parents as I get older. That's what it is.
I don't think you want to be explaining Pearl Jam to your mom exactly.
Now I got to Bing that and find out what it really means. I just thought it was a weird name.
Yes, Bing it. Bing it.
Okay.
You gotta
Bing it hard.
You gotta Bing it. Bing it.
Am I going to Bing that?
You gotta Bing it.
Okay, what?
Give it a thorough binging.
What is a
Bing.
Pearl Jam?
Oh, boy. you know we're on the radio right now, too, right?
Yeah. How Pearl Jam got their name.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Am I going to get in trouble for this?
Only if you say it all out loud
Why
on
was
the public's
Alice in
airwaves.
chains? I don't understand.
That was...
What's Alice's deal, anyway?
Why is Alice all chained up? Let's see. I will not read this on the air. Okay, very good.
All right. So Pearl Jam will continue in anonymity.
All right.
All right.
Very good.
Love it.
Let's just move on, Mom.
Yeah. Mom should have known that. Tell me to stay away from it. That's what should have happened. How about, I think Karen Bass might go to prison. Is that possible? Does the mayor of L.A. go to prison? Well, probably not. But if the incoming administration has anything to do with it, yes. According to LAist, California southern border, along ground zero in the fight between federal and local officials over immigration policy, is the center of a renewed controversy over how far local leaders can go to protect people from deportation. So what we're hearing is that the America First Legal Foundation has identified a number of sanctuary cities and obviously our sanctuary state, and we could face legal consequences. California Attorney General's office and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass sent letters, as was the city of San Diego, because they took steps this year to strengthen safeguards for undocumented residents. The letter suggests that sanctuary city officials could be civilly liable under federal anti-racketeering laws. So I guess we're going to fine Karen Bass as well. Trump has pledged to carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in U.S. history. San Diego Board of Supervisors enacting a policy prohibiting law enforcement from communicating with immigration authorities about undocumented people in local jails without a judicial warrant. So now we're going to have this showdown between California, certain cities in California, and then the federal government. And by God, you do it our way, or we're going to send you to prison, or we're going to sue you in civil court. This sounds a lot like lawfare to me. Isn't this lawfare? Weren't we told lawfare bad? Or is it lawfare bad if against my team? I see. It's a little bit like when I watch a football game. And if it's my team and somebody touches my wide receiver, I scream that was pass interference. Come on, ref, are you blind? And then if it's their team and the ref throws a flag for pass interference, I go, what are you doing, ref? What? Call it fair. You got to call it both ways. Why would you do that? I barely touched him. It's just football. What's the matter with you, ref? Yeah, that's what it is. So it's okay if it's my team, but it's not okay if it's your team. There we go. Lawfare is fine. As far as the sanctuary cities, are we going to see prosecution, or are we going to play some real hardball? Ooh, this could get exciting.
Former Homeland Security
from News Nation
Department Advisor Charles Marino, great to have you here.
I am.
So will it be worth it?
Boy, he sounds thrilled, doesn't he? Listen to her. She really sets it up.
Great to have you here.
Great to have you here.
I am.
Hi, Ann. It's like when I come home from work and I've done something wrong and my wife catches me, but I don't know that she's caught me yet. And I go, hi, babe, how was your day? Yep, that's exactly what it is.
So will it be worth it in the long haul? It's quite an investment.
This is cracking down on illegal immigration that she's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's going to take a lot of money to clean this mess up. Let's remember, we shouldn't be in this position in the first place. This is an issue that, in large part, cost Democrats the presidential election, as many of us have been saying that it would, because of its attachments to the economy, to safety and security, increasing crime. So it really did cost them. But, I think a lot of this money here can be offset if you look at the billions and billions. If sanctuary cities don't want to work with ICE, then you know what? They should no longer be receiving federal public safety grants.
Whoa. Uh-oh. We're going to turn off the spigot of federal funds. If you don't do things our way, we're going to hold those funds hostage. Okay.
If they want to thumb their nose at public safety and not work with the federal government to provide for that safety and security, then why should federal taxpayers continue to funnel money to these cities? So I think this $86 billion can be offset, and in the long run, I agree with Tom Homan, it will save taxpayers money.
All right. So you hear that, California? You're about to lose all your federal funding, which you pay more into than you take out. Can we just call fairsies? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. We'll stop sending money to the federal government. Federal government can stop sending money back to California. I'm fine with that. I think that's a great idea.
Well, there's those texts and phone calls that come in. They're just like, oh, we'll take care of all of you.
Yeah.
Call 6259.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, we'll take care of everything. I just think if the federal government gets to pick and choose whether or not they pay off their obligations based on what the local leadership is doing politically, and I understand some of you are going to say, but it's violates national security, it's safety, it's all this kind of stuff. If they come through and they start rounding people up and throwing them in camps, it's going to cost us more money in California because of our agricultural, our construction, all of these different sectors that rely on the labor. It's going to cost us bigly. Going to cost us bigly. So don't you think it's fair that if the federal government gets to pick and choose what obligations they fulfill, that we should be able to pick and choose how much money we send to the federal government? That just seems equitable to me. Otherwise, it's a one-way street, right? Federal government gets to dictate whatever they want, and the cities have, the states have no recourse. Oh, you know what? We actually have a system for this. If the states are doing something that we find to be illegal or unconstitutional, then you would run that through, what's the name of that? It's like a court system, but it's on a federal level. What's the name of that? If you have an issue and it has something to do with federal law, then you would run that through. God, it's a court, but on a federal that's right, the federal court system. That's it. That's what we could do. That's how it's supposed to play out. In fact, I believe that the term is comply and then figure it out in the courts, right? Yeah. All right, there you go. Isn't this just kind of like a big instance of big government telling local authorities how to run their cities and states? Now, what if we did abortion this way, right? What if we just said, oh, but as a political leader, I say we should have abortion legal in all 50 states, and states that don't allow it, well, we're going to cut off all of their funding, right? I mean, reproductive rights is a state's issue. Shouldn't the border be a state's issue? It's our border, right? Oh, no, it's a federal issue. Okay, all right. So, but we're not going to play this straight like that, are we? What about women's rights? Aren't those civil rights? That's a federal issue. The courts had previously ruled that abortion was a privacy issue. That's a federal issue. No? Oh. Back to the push and pull between the liberal states and the Republican presidents and the red states and the Democratic presidents. What if we were to just put up floating razor wire to keep Border Patrol out of sanctuary cities? What if we just did that? Just razor wire for everybody. Texas did it. It's good for Texas. Should be good for us, right? Oh, no, you can't do that. This drives me nuts. This is political nonsense. So get ready, because 2025 is going to be drama-filled. Drama. Speaking of drama, is it time for us to burn all of our American flags and replace them with new ones?
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Former President Trump has set his sights on a couple of very unique targets. It looks like we might have to get rid of the American flag and get ourselves some new ones with more stars. Yep. Looks like we're going to be targeting Canada, Panama, and Greenland. Wasn't that the Paul Simon? Not you, Foosh. Let me go back to Ronner. Ronner, that was the Paul Simon song, wasn't it?
What? Greenland?
I'm going to Greenland. Greenland. Way up north. I'm going to Greenland.
You're in the ballpark,
Okay.
but I think it's a little further south.
Oh, all right.
Good material.
My traveling companion, the polar bear.
You're asleep at the wheel on the on the rim shot for the Graceland
right.
joke.
Don't worry about it.
Give him the delayed one.
So I love this. We didn't get a chance to talk about this earlier. I love the idea of taking over. It's perfect.
Timing's everything.
I love it.
We have fun here.
I love that. Trump says he wants Greenland.
It's kind of hard to gauge whether or not
from ABC.
The president is serious about acquiring those sovereign places, especially considering he's using Truth Social, where he's also in between these statements posting memes and AI-generated images. But I will say, toward the Panama Canal, this is an act that would take some extraordinary measures, including new bilateral treaties that would rescind what was signed into law under President Carter in the 1970s. As it relates to Canada, it's more poking the bear there because
poking the polar bear.
Donald Trump has been pretty public about his disagreements with Trudeau.
Plus, his wife has a crush on him.
And then as it relates to Greenland, this is obviously a situation where the U.S. has flirted before with purchasing of that island.
Didn't he recommend trading Greenland for Puerto Rico? Wasn't that the deal the first time around? Am I confusing those two things?
Who can keep track?
Well, now Puerto Rico doesn't have any power. See, what is it? 87% of Puerto Rico lost power on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, they've got it back now, but we know they have paper towels.
Well, yeah, we threw those at them.
Yeah.
Here, take this. Bounty. Boom. So why Greenland? Why does he have a small hand up for Greenland? You know, come to find out, there may be a race for the Arctic Circle. The whole Greenland thing, as far as national security goes, just consider this. Look, I got 4 years to rip on the guy for the fire hose of chaos we're about to experience, which we know because we had it the first time around. But the whole Greenland thing, I guess that there is a strategy around the race for the Arctic Circle. Remember, everybody was racing to get to the moon? But now the Arctic Circle, we have a very small portion of the Arctic Circle that the United States has dibs on. That's Alaska, right? Seward's Folly. But now this notion that Greenland's not in play, but he wants to put it in play. And I think some of that is for strategic purposes, as far as, it's faster to get to Russia if you go over the top than it is to go around. Frankly, that's it. Or, I don't know, maybe we're going to invade Norway next or something. I don't have any idea. But there may be a strategic advantage to that. I don't know that it's necessary for our national security, but there may be, if you dig really hard, there may be some advantages to that. And, I mean, if we open up all the other, regulations on emissions and we roll back everything that we did to try to curb climate change, forget finding a Northwest Passage. I mean, we're just going to have, it's going to be nice and balmy up there. So all of our shipping can go right straight north. Think about that. Everything coming out of the ports in New York can go all over the world. Just go up over the top. I don't know. Just trying to find something here. I'm finding something with the story to say it could have a purpose. I don't know. I do think it's been a long time. Not in my lifetime have we seen a new state. That feels exciting to me. Again, that's all I got. I have nothing else. Nothing else. But 50 is such a nice round number. Hey, Hey, if we took over Canada, which we're not going to because I don't think we want to invade Canada. Although I believe, wasn't that John Candy's last film, Canadian Bacon? So, who knows, maybe. If that's the case, do we take Canada and make it our 51st state as Trump kind of poked at with Justin Trudeau, or do we take all those provinces and they all become U.S. states?
The second one.
Okay. So, Quebec is now a U.S. state, right? Prince Edward Island is now a U.S. state. Newfoundland is now a U.S. state, which is basically the Alabama of the North. Saskatchewan, Alberta. How many can we name? I don't have any idea. I haven't done that since 6th grade. I got nothing else to say about this. You guys have anything to add? Anything?
Apparently consent is not an issue with this.
Since when has consent ever been an issue?
You're right.
I know where you were going. I just...
well, what was I thinking?
Bump, set, spike. You're welcome. Thank you very much. All right.
Great team.
Yeah. Well done, Ronner. Well done. Things you need to do before you die in 2025. That is straight ahead. Chris Merrill, in from O'Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere in the iHeart Radio app.
You've been listening to Later with Mo Kelly. You can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeart Radio app.